Welcome to this special fireside chat session titled Inspiring Journeys, the star behind the scenes. My name is Mayank Shekhar, as mentioned. We are kind of behind the scenes. And the star who's going to be with me is someone you first gave a shout out to back in 1997. You said, hey, that's the girl from Chachi 420. Then you gave a shout out again in 2016, said that's the girl from Dangal, by which time she'd become a star. She's done about 20 films since. The last time we saw on screen was as Indira Gandhi in the biopic Sam Bahadur. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Fatima Sana Sheikh. Don't wrestle with
so
it,
much.
just take it.
No, I won't beat you up. Maybe afterwards.
It depends on the questions I ask you.
Yeah.
So,
Be
so
careful.
if you're, if I don't want to do a wrestling bout already right here, although it does seem like a bit of a ring.
It does.
Yeah. But I'm going to go back to the original topic of the session, which is the star behind the scenes, Fatima. And the fact is that you were behind the scenes looking at stars at an age when most kids haven't even watched movies.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you were what, all of 5 years old,
Yeah.
working with Kamal Hassan. You did a film with Shah Rukh Khan, that would be 1, 2, 4. Did you also do a film with Amir even before Dangal?
That was like a 3-second role.
Okay.
I didn't really do anything. I was just carried in the arms of an actor and I was just sitting.
And then you also worked with Amitabh Bachchan in a film that never released. That's something I just heard.
Oh, yeah.
What
I
was that
did.
film about?
I have no memory of it. I just remember being in front of Amitabh Bachchan ji. And for me, at that time, when you're so young, you don't even realize how big a person is. It's the people around them when they react or behave in a certain way. So as a child, you're much more, you receive a lot more. So you realize ki, acha, this person is a star. But the person is so kind. And the person is so nice. And, as a child also, he would tell you, ke, bacha, ye mat karo. Acha, bacha, aise karke dekho. Which is so nice.
And you can't possibly be starstruck at that age in any case because you have no context
No,
to
you
what's
have no
going on in
context.
front of you.
Yeah.
But what's it like when you actually are among peers or Mamaji, Chachaji and various relatives and you're this little child,
Yeah.
but you're the center of attention as
Yeah.
a child star already.
Yeah.
Does that mess with your head though?
I hated it. I hated it. So when I was a child actor, there was a huge thing that there were too many child actors. So it was like a small industry where child actors were the stars and the parents, validated them in a very let's say a toxic way.
Okay.
Because when you're a star and you're a child and you're working say about 13, 14 hours every day, and I think after 6 hours you're going to get really cranky and irritated. So the parents would give them everything and the child is earning. So there is a lot of ego. I was lucky because I was too shy and I didn't want to work. So after a point I stopped working. But I have seen a lot of peers like really losing it after a point. Because you're always around ek to adults, you don't have friends of your own
Right.
age, so you mature earlier, you sometimes what the understanding of what reality is slightly warped after a time.
So you've actually seen these child actors from that age with completely messed up heads
Yes,
and you
I
can't
have.
even do regular jobs anymore and many of them perhaps didn't even get into show business.
Dysfunctional. They're very dysfunctional and like eventually everybody changes and they grow. It depends on what
Right.
kind of people
Right.
you are and what mindset you have. But then I've seen a lot of people just
Right, and I see your point. I mean, there is a documentary on child
I've
actors
seen
in
it.
Bollywood. You've seen it, right?
Oof,
By Deepa
I've seen
Bhatia.
it. It's, acha, I've not seen that one. I've seen the other one about the Disney kids.
Okay.
So the story is the same. They are around adults, they are around predators, and even though there are parents who are very protective, पर पता नहीं चलता ना कि अगर आपका बच्चा आपके साथ है, अगर वो चला गया 2 मिनट किसी से बात करने के लिए, क्या हो जाएगा? A set is not really the most safe environment for a child,
Right.
if you think of it.
Right.
Because you're always around adults, you're working, so you're working a lot. And back then, working hours were not as defined. So a child wasn't as protected as they are right now.
Which is not the case
Yeah,
today. But of
it's
course,
not the case
you
today.
went on to act in a lot of television serials. You went on to act in a lot of commercials, if I'm not mistaken. This was your choice after having given up when you were a kid? Is that something you said, okay, you know what? I can do this as an adult because it doesn't mess with my brain that much.
Yeah.
Because you love acting, you love
Yeah.
performance.
Yeah. No, as a child, I hated it. So then, but I was not good in studies. So I couldn't understand anything that I was reading. So I was like, shit, now what do I do? I'm not good at anything.
Try sport, try a sport,
Please,
try
I
wrestling.
couldn't do it. I couldn't even run properly. I was the last person in a race. So that was not my strength. Then I went to college. Somehow I managed, like I got about 50% in my 10th. Then I went to Mithibai College, and there are these college festivals. So when I went there and I joined art department.
Right.
And that's when I realized that I could paint, or I could get into this world or this field. And then I told my parents, and my parents were like, what is this? What arts do you want to do? Acting has so much money. Why would you want to do this? Everybody wants to be an actor. And I was like, but I want to be an artist. I want to be a painter. I want to explore fine arts. But eventually, my parents couldn't really afford it. When you want to apply to an art school, you need to have a profile.
Right.
You need to have stationery. Even an application requires around 1,000 rupees. And you're not applying to just one college. You're applying
Sure.
to multiple colleges. So at that time, we couldn't afford it. Then I started doing TV again, and I started auditioning a lot. And I realized that actually I feel like I'm at home and I'm enjoying it. And the struggle is there. I'm not getting the roles. But in that moment of, say, 1 minute, when I'm in front of this small camera in this small room where there is no director, I'm really in the moment. And I realized that, oh no, I actually want to do this. So,
I mean, you did dabble in cinematography, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
That's something that you were
Yeah.
thinking of pursuing at some point?
so basically, when I was not getting acting jobs, I was like, shit, I have to do something now. What do I do? So I joined this small company, and I was assisting a photographer, and they would cut wedding trailers and they would shoot weddings. So I was an assistant there. So I've gone to a lot of rich weddings and shot a lot of people and enjoyed great food, and they were marrying in these 7-star, 5-star hotels, and I had a great room. But it was very interesting. I have a lot of stories.
I mean, I'm assuming that was a side gig while you were
Yeah,
auditioning
while I was
for parts.
auditioning,
And you're constantly auditioning for parts, and then
Yes.
boom, you land what becomes India's most successful film ever. I don't think any film is past 2,000 crore. No film has seen that element of love also. I mean, it's one thing to do box office numbers, another
Yeah.
to also be critically acclaimed at the same level. What was that like? How did you manage to soak in that level of success? Because that is genuinely your first film as an
As an
adult
adult,
actor, before the screen, before a wide audience. What was that moment like?
When you're struggling, you think that there is going to be this one moment, one film that is going to change everything. So for me, fortunately, that was Dangal.
It had, I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
fortunately.
Yeah.
Because what happens is, when you're struggling, you would take any job that you get. If I would have gotten some other film, I would have done it. I was lucky that they were auditioning regular people and not actors or not people from the industry. So in that sense, they opened up gates for a lot of newcomers. And then we auditioned, and it wasn't like I gave my audition and I got the film. There were multiple rounds. There were physical tests, there were screen tests, there were other stamina tests, and then wrestling and everything. And you were auditioning for good 2 months. And then eventually, when we got it, I couldn't believe it. And then I was like, shouldn't I be feeling a little more excited? Shouldn't I be feeling something more?
Yeah.
Because I got the film. But then I started stressing about, oh no, am I going to be good at it? Am I not going to be good at it? Once the film got done and there was a screening happening before the film released, I started crying. Because I thought that I've given the worst performance of the world. They gave me an opportunity and I ruined it for them.
You couldn't tell how amazing the film is and how everything is
No.
just kind of worked out really well?
No, I was what about
You were just looking at
22 or
yourself
something.
and
Yeah, I was
you didn't
looking
like
at
what you
myself
saw.
and I was like, oh my God, I've ruined them. I've destroyed their film. I think I gave myself too much of an importance and I didn't believe in myself. I always I have a lot of self-doubt, and back then even more because I was very young. But that film changed everything. It opened up a lot of doors for me. Now I have a choice. Like if a script comes, I can say yes or no to a script. And that's a privilege.
But I'm interested in what that does to you as a person when you see that level of commercial success, those number of eyes looking at you as an adult, of course, this time. Like, for instance, this film was a blockbuster in China. Did you visit China?
I did.
And what was that like?
It was amazing. They recognized me and I was like, oh, I'm being recognized. Up until now, the auntie in my next building didn't recognize me. Now the whole world does. So it was very, it was extremely humbling.
What do you think was in that film that really connected with the Chinese audience?
You know, China is as diverse as India. There are many dialects. Region-wise also, it's very similar. It's got a lot of different dialects, different food, different culture. So even in their society is very similar to ours. So there is a lot of patriarchy. There is a lot of, taboo around fathers having a certain kind of a relationship with daughters. There are certain roles that are defined for women and that's what they're supposed to play. So I think in that sense, it really touched with their hearts too.
Right, so there's an Asian connect,
Connect.
And a rural connect,
yes,
Asia-wide
yes.
in that sense. And you get this kind of success and you can't possibly better it in terms of I'm sure you had lots of scripts, but there is nothing you can pick bigger and more grand than Thugs of Hindustan, my friend. I mean, it's got Amitabh Bachchan, it's got Amir Khan, first time together, it's got Yash Raj Films backing it, and it did not turn out that way.
So it's so interesting because I got to see this, and then I got to see
you can't get higher than that.
You can't get higher than that,
and you can't possibly get lower than this because of the expectations attached.
Right. But the expectation is on them, not so much on me.
Okay.
Like I made it about myself a lot more than I thought.
Did you?
I think so. I thought, okay, now my career is over. I won't get any more work. I did lose out on some projects.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
In what sense?
In the sense that I had signed 3 films.
Okay.
And one day I wake up and in the newspaper I see, acha, the shooting of this film is starting with this actor.
Oh, damn! They can do that to you?
Of course they do that. Of course, nobody calls you and tells you, oh, you're not there in the film anymore. They'll just.
But you just said you signed a film.
Yeah.
You've signed a film means you've signed a contract, right?
Yeah. And they didn't even give me like the token money, so that was sad.
And that's not just one film.
No, I lost 3 films.
3 films straight.
Yes, yes.
Because you were not lucky enough for them, or you were not suddenly not talented enough for them.
I don't know, but it's okay. I understand their mindset. See, if I'm a producer, I would want the best actors. I would want the best director, best everything, where I could get the return. The money that I've put in, if I don't get the return, so why would I invest? There are very few makers or producers who can see beyond that, who could believe in an actor or a maker. There are very few people. But otherwise, I do understand the mindset. I am not a resentful person.
I'm sure now looking back, you're understanding a mindset, but it's unethical, it's wrong, and it certainly disturbs you, frazzles you. Did that happen?
For a very small, for a very short time. Because I think I'm a little more understanding to the inner workings of the industry. And I understand it's not just about an actor and a director or the audience. There is a lot of money involved and there is somebody who's putting the money. And maybe that person doesn't believe in you. So it's okay.
Padma, I mean, I see that you can work your way around and see things for what they are, but for someone who started out as a child actor, then became an overnight sensation as an adult, as a proper star in the biggest Indian movie there's ever been, up till even now, what have you understood about show business as a business? What have you understood about, I mean, I'll get to the acting bit a little later, but what have you understood? These are the rules and that's how it works. I mean, you can read books on it, but you can't learn it the way you have because it's literally everything has happened to you overnight in a certain way.
That there are no rules.
Okay.
So it's not that if this is how it has worked for one person, it will never work for the other person. Nothing is permanent. Your highs are not permanent. Your lows are not permanent. You can't get too attached to fame and you cannot get too attached to your failures also. Your work is not your identity, you're more than that. I think that realization needs to happen, because otherwise you make your work your reality, your identity, your life. And then once that is taken away, say if tomorrow you meet with an accident, then what? You don't have the face that you have. Then you won't get the roles that you have. So one needs to realize you need to build on more skills and learn more, read more, meet more people so that you can do other things.
Have you also realized that maybe next time you sign a contract, make sure that it's binding and that they can't just sack you because they didn't feel like
That's
it?
there, but then, I mean, it's okay. There are a lot of unethical things that happen. There are a lot of films you do where there are no paperwork, but they give you 100% bonus. So there are people like that also, and there is nothing that you can do about it. I mean, it's unethical, but then I think now people are much more aware. The producers guild is much more stronger. So there are, laws in place now.
For someone who started out acting at such a young age and also pursued it thereafter, not just films, but also in other media, as I mentioned, what have you learned about acting on your own? Because you did not go to an acting school. You
No,
should
I
have,
didn't.
because that's
I
what you
wish.
wanted to pursue anyway.
Yeah, but I couldn't afford it.
Okay.
I couldn't afford it, and I was a child actor, so my parents didn't understand the merit of it. And eventually, what started happening is that I was auditioning a lot. So I was learning a lot by watching other people.
And what did you learn?
Just a different way to approach a scene. And I think the more you experience in life, the more you travel, the more you meet people, and if you observe a lot of things, then you can really apply it to your performance. Now I do take workshops.
Okay.
I went to Adi Shakti because now I can afford it. And
In
I
Pondicherry.
Think, in Pondicherry. I
Right.
think it has been one of the most amazing experience of my life as an actor. Because up until then actually, I used to feel that the way I performed was wrong.
Okay.
Because whenever I do a film, I am only acting between an action and a cut. I do not take the character back home. I do not sit with it. I'm not that person. So because a lot of other actors romanticize the idea of, oh, I've become this person and now I'm going to live like that for a year and now I'm depressed and I'm sad and falana dhimka. So I went to
They're
Adi-
faking it, no?
No.
I mean, they lose their mind if every film they were to
no, there
become
are a
that
lot
person.
of people who really go through that
Okay.
process, and I think I'm nobody to judge that. It's not for me. Some people approach it like that, some people approach it in another way. So when I went to Adi Shakti, they said, why is it that every time an actor plays a sad, depressed, or a negative role, they take the emotion away. But when you're playing a comic, or when you're playing a happy, romantic film, why aren't you like that
All the
every
time,
day?
right.
Why are you not carrying that emotion? Because we love to be sad. Because we thrive in being depressed and sad and angry. So उनका फंडा ये है कि आप आओ, काम करो, your skill set should be so sharp and it should be in your control. Like say a cinematographer, he knows his machine, or a pilot, he knows his machine, he knows कि मैं ये knob नीचे करूँगा, ऐसा होगा, यहाँ से my body is my machine. I need to control that. So that's their funda and works for me.
Which stars have inspired you most when you watched them on screen while growing up or even among your contemporaries?
I really enjoy Kangana's work. I think she's an incredible actor. She was...
You're not just saying that because you've played Indira Gandhi yourself and so has Kangana.
No, I've always loved her.
Right.
You know, when I got Dangal and I had once met her at a party, I ran up to her and I said, I'm a huge fan of yours. She's an incredible actor. She was one of the first people in the industry who came from the outside, जिसने बहुत ही अलग फिल्में की है. She's done Queen, she's done Tanu Mein Weds Manu. The kind of roles that, you know, as an actor, a female actor, you're like, oh, I can do that. I can have a film backing on me. So that was really inspiring.
Kangana Ranaut would be one. Is there any male star you worked with who you find equally inspiring? I would think you'd say Amir right away. I mean, that's your...
Of course, he's extremely intelligent and his choices of scripts, stories, I mean, he's changed the industry. Say with Tare Zameen Par, Rang De Basanti, Lagan, the kind of films that he's done, they've been the landmarks of our film journey, of our industry. So, of course, he is there. But I think I've realized with all the people that I've worked with, especially Manoj Bajpayee, AK, Anil Kapoor ji, Bachchan ji, Vijay Verma, Rajkumar Rao, Ali Fazal, and I've worked with such incredible people. They are so humble. They are so disciplined. And that's a takeaway that I've taken, that it doesn't matter where you are at in your position as an actor, but you have to carry that with you.
Well, you're right in the middle of your journey, Fatima, and I hope it remains as inspiring for everyone else. And I have this conversation 10 years later, and someone opposite me will say your name when I ask them
Inshallah.
who is the most inspiring actor. Thank you very much. On
Thank
that
you
note,
so
ladies
much.
and gentlemen, Fatima Sana Sheikh.
Thank you.